All right, welcome back to the second part of this video series. We're going to take the cribbage board top that is on the screen in front of you in this video, and we're going to create a tool path for it. I think for a lot of you, this will be a little bit easier than the modeling activity because you've created multiple tool paths. I know for many of you that last assignment may have been the first time you modeled a part up. So, if you struggle, don't worry. Things get easier the more you do them, and this should be a good example of that. So we're going to go to the CAM tab to start our tool path, and we're going to click the setup folder. Now, in the last video, I made a big deal about the origin placement, which sketching plane we should sketch in first, and then where we should start that rectangle. And that was so when we got to this part, we could come down here to the work coordinate system and just change the origin to the model origin. All right, and it'll snap this green X, Y, and Z down here into the right location. Okay? So if you do model origin and yours doesn't go to that same spot and look the way it does on the screen right now, get a hold of your instructor and he or she can come up with a plan for you to get that origin into the right spot. So I like where my origin is. I'm going to click OK. And now I've got three tool paths here that I need to take care of. I need to drill some holes in this. I need to cut out this pocket. And I need to cut the outline of my project out. And anytime I'm cutting a lot of material out, like the outline where there's not going to be, a lot of support to hold my project in, I like to do that one last. So we're going to program it to drill first, do the pocket next, and then finally cut around the outside edge last. Okay? So to drill, I'm going to come up here and click on the drill button. Because this is the first tool that we're using, there's not an actual tool selected yet, so I need to click the tool button, and we're going to do this with our 1/4 inch flat mill. So I'm going to go tools by type. I'll click on flat mill, and then I'm going to search for the 1/4 inch flat mill and go ahead and pick one of these, click on select, and then I'm going to take and turn the coolant off. We'll disable that. The drilling, pretty easy one to pick the geometry on this second tab. I can just click on these two holes and say, those are the ones I want you to drill. Okay, we're not going to worry about the heights tab. I know in the last video when we created a tool path, we did, but that's because we were drilling hundreds of holes, right? For 2 holes, there's really no sense in going through and trying to adjust this height and make the router move a few hundredths of an inch less. Okay, then on this final tab here, the cycle tab, we just want to make sure that our cycle type is set for drilling rapid out, and it is, so I can click OK. Then I'm going to come up top and save what I've got. Okay. Next, we're going to create the 2D pocket. Now my tool is already selected, so I can go on to the geometry tab. Geometry is pretty easy. I want it to carve the bottom of this big rectangular pocket, so I'll click the bottom of the pocket. Again, I'm going to skip the heights tab and come into passes. I'm going to go to multiple depths. And I am going to override the 4/100ths of an inch with an 1/8 of an inch. That's 0.125. I'm going to scroll. Oops. I used the roller ball on my mouse to scroll down, and it lowered that number. We'll type 1.125 in again. 0.125. And then I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to check use even step downs. And then I'm going to uncheck stock to leave. I don't want it to leave any material. I want it to cut right tight to those lines that I programmed. And then finally, I'm going to come over here to the linking tab, and I'm going to turn the lead in, the lead out off by unchecking them. And I want to switch my ramp type from a helix to a plunge, and then I'll click OK. Right, so there, I've wrote the program for this pocket. Again, I like what I see on the screen with those blue lines, so I'm going to click the Save button. And the last thing I need to do is a 2D contour. This is where the machine's going to cut around the outside edge. Right, my tool is already picked. My coolant is disabled, so I'm going to come to the contour selection. And this is where I want to try and pick this bottom circle. And so again, this is the bottom edge of my project. This will tell the router I want to cut to that full depth. Then I'm going to come in here and click on the tabs button. I like to get a nice front view for this one, so I'm going to move it around a little bit. You can see it says tabs. Right now they're positioned by distance, and there's one every 2 inches. That seems a little excessive. So this time I'm going to change it to have one tab every 6 inches, and that reduces my tabs down. I can see here to 4. Okay, I'm going to go back in though and make my tabs a little bit bigger since I've got less of them. I'm going to make my tabs 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch wide, and I'm going to change it to 1/8 inch thick, 0.125 inches thick. Oh, and I prematurely clicked on OK there. I've got one step left to do. I need to double click on my 2D contour one more time. I want to come back to my passes, and you guessed it, I'm going to go to multiple depths. I'm going to change my maximum roughing to 0.125. And then I'm going to come down and click use even step downs. And then finally, I need to come to the linking tab and turn off the lead in and the lead out. And then I can click OK. All right, and I can see this blue circle here is the tool path the center of the bit's going to follow. That's what I want to see. So I'm going to save it. And before I post-process this, I'm going to simulate it. I've already got the stock button checked over here, so I can click play. Okay, now right now, it's just doing my outer circle. Right, and the reason for that is if I go to my cam tab, by clicking close, I probably had this one highlighted. So I need to go click on setup number 2 or setup number 1. It'll probably say on your screen. Right, and now if I click play, it'll simulate the whole thing. So I can see it just drilled. It's cutting out that center pocket. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Now it's going around the outside edge. And if I flip to a front view, I can see it left some tabs here connecting the keeper to the scrap piece so things aren't going to go flying on me. So again, I like what I see. I'm going to save it. I am going to go to the post-process area. The Mach 3 mill should be picked. I'm going to change the program name to my name or my initials. And then I'm going to call it cribbage board top. All right, and then I'm going to click the post button. And just like we've done before, we could save this to our desktop. So it's easy to find. And then you're going to submit this .tap file to me through the Google Classroom assignment page. So there you go. You've done it. You have gone from absolutely nothing in your computer to a modeled up part with a tool path we can cut on the CNC router. You are well on your way to becoming a CNC router expert. So congratulations. Right, if you're not feeling like that big of an expert yet and you've got questions for me, feel free to email me and I will be glad to help you.